Okay, so like I said, if you're making brown rice, you're gonna cook it like you do pasta. So I'm gonna do that first. First, I'm gonna fill up my pot with some decent amount of water. So then the next thing that I will do is once I've got this water going, and the nice thing is that this way I don't have to measure anything. So that's not bad. Oh boy. All right, give me a second, guys. And just like you do with pasta, you know, seasoning the water, not as much, just a little bit. It's also a good plan. What burner do I want this on? I don't want this on that burner. All right, excuse me a second, guys. Oh, hey. Oi. All right, let me put a lid on my pot because it's really, if you want your pot to boil faster, then you put a lid on it. It helps.
I don't really have the availability for that.
Oh, you still have your stuff.
No. I just got off. I just got out of my English class meeting.
Okay.
But her said everything by Monday. Just send me an email when you've got a chunk of stuff.
Okay.
So.
And what about Bruckner? You're finishing that, or are you done?
I haven't finished that thing yet.
Okay.
I'll want some more of your systems on that.
Okay.
It's stuff that he didn't properly teach us.
Yeah.
And you also teach the same subject, basically.
In some respects, yes. All right.
Yes.
So again, like I was saying about the brown rice is you're going to rinse it first. Okay. So how much am I pouring in? The nice thing is that I'm not worried about too much, too little, etc., because I don't have to be worried about the exact measurements. Because with brown rice, since I'm cooking it like pasta, I can put in however much or little I want. But I'm definitely going to rinse it off first because we want to get that kind of weird chemical that can make it harder to digest off of the outside of the grains. All right. There's that one. Then I'm going to have it on so it doesn't dribble. All right. That's my brown rice, and that's going to wait for me. So I am ready to cook it, and the water is boiling. And then once the water is boiling is when I will put some salt into the water or whatever else you want to flavor your stuff with. That's the nice thing about rice. You can flavor it with lots of things, right? Right. Okay. Wild rice, same principle. You're going to cook it like you would brown rice. So, and again, that's not what it's going to say on the bag, guys. What's say on the bag is 1 part rice to 3 parts water, more than brown rice would normally say, more than white rice. Man, I'm doing all sorts of goofiness here, huh? But same principle. You can absolutely cook it like you would brown rice, which is the same way you would cook pasta, as in lots of water, so it has lots of room to move around. But I wasn't planning on actually cooking the wild rice today. I just wanted to give you guys the heads up on it because it's a fun and different thing that you can serve. When I'm doing it, I like to do it with like some caramelized onions, give it some nice flavor. But I thought you might get a kick out of seeing the purple rice. So make sure that's the other thing is because each rice ends up cooking at different times, different amounts of water, Depends on if they've been treated beforehand. So there was a rice I found, and it was Joe Schmo organic white rice, but it only called for 1.25 cups of water to a cup of rice. Wait, what? It turned out beautifully, but I had to read the package. So if I just tried to cook it like normal, that 2-to-1 ratio, 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice, it would have turned out mushy and would have been bad. So always read your recipe. So like this one says, 1 3/4 cups of water to 1 cup of rice and a little bit of salt. And then you have to cook it for 30 minutes. That's this one. And the pot that I want to put that one in is that one. Sorry for the binging and clanging, guys. Uh-oh. That's not gonna work. I forgot. Sadly, the lid for this pot that I like very much, I like this pot, but the lid for it broke. So that sucks. So I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. So instead, I'll do this other one because I know that it has a nice tight fitting lid. And that's one of the other things. When you are doing rice that is just the right amount of water, having a tight fitting lid is an important part so that you don't end up losing the things that making sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, 1 3/4. All right. And I'm using my liquid measuring cup. Liquid measuring cup, right? And it says to put it all right into one thing, which I'm going to do. That's my 1 3/4. I love my child. Sometimes so crazy. And then my 1 cup. Now, why didn't I just use my liquid measuring cup? Because rice is a dry good, and therefore I'm going to use dry good measuring versus liquid, because rice is not a liquid. Okay. Ta-da! Like I said, looks completely black at this point. And this will turn out dark purple. Right, and a little bit of salt. Not too terribly much. But you can always do it with broth or whatever else you want to do it with, because why? Because you can. All right, so then just making sure, I always do this a gazillion times. Bring to boil over high heat. Now, I'm going to cover it so that it comes up to a boil faster, but it's not until it actually boils that I'll really plunk the lid in there. Is that true? Or do I just want to plunk that in there? You know what? Screw it. I'll just put that in there. Okay. So we've got our water going and is ready for our brown rice for cooking my pasta. We've got our forbidden rice, and that's doing its thing. Now, going to show you something that I do. Let's see. I want to do this one. Okay. So this is my basmati rice. Again, like I said, I have plain rice. I can do basmati, I can do plain, whatever. But on this one, I'm going to do it in a wide saucepan. And I'm going to make sure that I have the right lid for it, so that my lid fits nice and tight. Okay. Ta-da. All right, and this one I'm going to do a little bit differently. And just like how Sierra and Karina talked about doing like Mexican rice or red rice, I'm going to do something with that, something kind of similar. So again, let's wash my hands. And just to make sure that I don't have different measuring. So this is, so this is also a cup of rice to 1 3/4 cups of water. So there's certain ones, oh, it's a 2-to-1 ratio, but there's lots of them that it doesn't work like that for it. So we want to make sure that we are on the right track with that. So because of that, I'm going to use my big measuring cup. Because I'm going to do, okay, so 1 3/4 and 1 3/4 is 3 1/2. So I'm going to end up doing 2 cups of rice. But instead of just getting it crunchy, I'm going to do a couple things to it. So first of all, what?
You do realize you need more basil, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just 'cause
Did you check the plant on the back deck?
it's separate.
I didn't say it wasn't. I just said, did you
Like
check?
the leaves were all half dead. They
Yeah.
couldn't even do
Well,
the-
because basil is an annual. Do you guys know about that? Annuals versus perennials. So an annual means that they grow up from seed, they flower, they put out new seeds, and they die. That's it. Whereas it's a perennial, it's going to keep on coming back. That's different than an evergreen. So like rosemary is an evergreen. It stays green all year round. Basil is an annual. Grows, flowers, seeds, dies. Perennials, ones that come back. Let me think. Oh, parsley comes back. Oregano can also do that. So, all right, so I'm going to turn on my front burner to medium and start it doing its thing. What?
I now realize
Yes.
we're having just good old standard rice. That's already made.
Well, lucky for you, I'm making a bunch of flippin' rice.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's not going to be good for fried rice.
Yes, but you can.
Or like,
Okay, here, cool trick, guys. Ready? Oh no, I didn't make enough rice and it didn't get refrigerated overnight. I can't make fried rice. However, you make regular rice and then put it out on the cookie sheet I gave you, throw it in the fridge for like a half hour. It chills down enough that you can totally use it for fried rice. So you do not have to wait for an overnight thing. All right, so I've turned on my heat. I'm putting in a pretty good chunk of butter. Can you use oil? Yes, you can totally use oil. That is fine. I have all sorts of interesting and weird oils. One of them I haven't even used yet. That mustard oil.
I didn't realize you were.
Okay, so once my butter has melted, then I'm going to put 2 cups of this into my pan. And I got my eyes on the, ooh, how are you guys doing? So you guys notice I just like tapped this. I did that on purpose because after a while, this is gonna get hot. And I certainly do not want to get burned because that would super suck. You didn't see that. Just kidding. All right, so I'm gonna wash my hands again. Why? Because butter. All right, and then hey, Mr. Meeting 3:45, dude.
Never mind.
Right.
I was like, no, because my thought process was, oh, no, my meeting with Mr. Pappas and the rest of them ends at 3:30. Mr. Pappas got it. I connected the dots myself.
Yay, dot connection. Dot connection's good. All right. Go, little guy, go. My water's almost boiling. Almost. I'm not gonna put my stuff in there too soon because I don't want it to all fall to the bottom and then like stick to the bottom because that's no fun. But okay, I don't know if you guys can see these little wisps of steam. That's telling me that that is ready for me to turn down to low or simmer. Simmer is just the tiniest of little bitty bubbles, okay? Which is exactly what we want. We don't need it going super duper crazy town USA. Triple check. Why? Because I do. But I've made a bazillion things of, thank you, rice in my life. Yes, I have many times. And still. Okay.
Don't leave by my example. I did not use a cutting board, but it didn't happen. You all didn't see it. Hopefully.
Wow. That's great. Okay. All right, so I have my butter is now basically melted. So I'm gonna pour my 2 cups of basmati rice. You can do this with white rice. You can do this with jasmine rice. You can do this with basmati rice. You can do it any of kind of the mid, long, extra long. Mid grain is you're starting to kind of push it, but you can still do it with that. Okay, so there's almost 1 cup. 1 cup. We like rice at our house. All right, 2 cups. And I don't know if you can see over there, but that is boiling pretty nicely. So that's good. And then I'm gonna put my, and again, I do that quick check, right? Make sure it's not too hot. I'm gonna put my brown rice in there. Okay. Brown rice. I'm gonna give it a little stir, and knowing that I need that on for ½ hour. So I'm gonna give that guy a little stir. And I'm gonna partially cover it. I'm trying to bring it back up to a boil, but I don't want it to like boil over. All right. So I love seeing all the grains bubbling and frothing away. It's fun. All right, so that's doing that. I'm gonna use that same bowl. This is not a bowl. This is a spoon. Okay, so I'm going to stir my rice. This is my 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of basmati rice, and I'm gonna bring it over to the camera and I will show you guys that it's gonna look shiny, okay? So you can see that it looks shiny. That's the butter has gone on top of it, and that's good. Now, why am I not turning it up crazy up high? Good question. Because I'm trying to get everything, some browning. I don't need the whole thing to, I don't want to brown it too fast. Because if I do, then I'm going to have really dark pieces and really light pieces. And that might be fun for color variation. Okay. But in terms of wanting everybody to kind of become part of the party, yeah. So I can turn it up a little bit, but I'm not going to crank this all the way up to high. And I have my water ready. Now, right before I add the water, I'm going to add a couple of other things to give it a little bit more flavor. Garlic. Oh, hi, Cool. His dish is in that mess. So the other nice thing is that when I add the garlic, so I'm gonna chop up some garlic, and when I add that, because the rice will be so hot, it will cook really quickly. I'm not trying to get really overwhelming garlic flavor, right? I'm not trying to do that, but I am going to want some garlic flavor. Therefore, that gentle cooking right before it goes into the water means it's going to have some nice depth to it. And since basmati already has a really nice nuttiness to it, that you can add all sorts of, I mean, that's the thing about rice, is you can add all sorts of things to different flavors and make it something totally different. You guys seen, oh goodness. Ratatouille. There we go, I can't believe I brought that name. And how he is eating like a piece of fruit and he has a little piece of cheese and it makes this whole other flavor and how excited he is. Well, that's a nice thing about rice is it can do the same thing. You can add one thing and then add something else, totally change the flavor. You can make it with broth, not broth.
Yeah, what I end up doing most of the time is I make my white rice with chicken broth, which is more just mixing hot water with chicken bouillon, but it still works.
Totally. Did you want to do that with the basmati today?
No, I don't really like it on.
I'm gonna do the garlic though.
That already have some of their own flavor.
Okay, but I'm gonna do the garlic though. Hi, you okay there?
Yeah. Just when I was shaking, it's essentially like a mind clearer shot kind of thing. It's lemon juice, ginger syrup, and hot sauce, and then I thin it out a little bit with some grapefruit seltzer.
Okay.
You shoot it and everything just kind of clears up.
Does that mean you're gonna like knock out your English right now? Just saying.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. So I think that that's probably a good amount of garlic. So I'm gonna get a cutting board so I can smash the heck out of this. But I'm also gonna stir my rice, because if I don't, then it might not. Oh, yeah, I'm smelling that cooking and it's starting to, I can start to hear a little bit of a sizzle now. That nuttiness, that's part of the reason I really love toasting basmati, is because it's already got this great nuttiness to it. And then when you toast it, oh, you just bring that nuttiness up like 12 notches. And so I also, I think it might be on the stove, oven, table. Pick a word, any word will do, it's fine. Oh, gracious. Yeah, so I have these almonds that I got from Costco. that are garlic chive almonds, and they're really nice and crunchy, and they're super garlicky. Now, I'm a big fan of the garlic, so I don't have an issue with that. But I could absolutely see doing up the basmati rice and then putting some of those nuts on the top of it, that and a salad, and call it good. There you go. Easy peasy. Knife. That knife. Again. So I've now got my garlic ready to smash, but I'm going to hone my knife. Remember that, straightening the blade, not sharpening it, right? I'm just straightening the blade. And if bringing the blade towards you is too weird, great. Do it the opposite way. Just make sure that you're going all the way from the heel, that's the heel of the blade, all the way down and to the tip, okay? Okay. If you're like, it's too wobbly all over here, not that you should be gesturing with a knife, then you can put this down and go like that, which may feel more stable, and that's totally fine. Whatever feels most comfortable for you is what you should do. But honing your knives is definitely an important piece. All right, so hello, cute little. Now, the one thing also with your brown rice is to, you don't want to boil over. You want to give it a little bit of a stir every so often. Make sure that everybody's in the party doing their thing. It's been going for about 8 minutes. But since I'm trying not to have it boil over. So, and I'm coming back to this guy, and oh, I'm seeing some color. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see. So there's a couple of spots, right, that have a little bit of color. I ain't ready yet. Just starting to get some color. I'm not ready for it to do my garlic stuff yet. I'm gonna let it continue to go, but while I'm waiting, I'm going to smash the garlic. Smash, smash, smash. Okay, so this is that heel of the hand, and the blade is faced away from me, okay? Okay, nice and flat, right? That's all I'm trying to get is flat. Because trying to chop through this stuff when it's big and rounded is a little more difficult. All right. I have to say, I love the smell of garlic. I have heard of some people who are allergic to garlic, and I can't even imagine my life without garlic. I really can't. All right. That, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So then once I'm ready, I will use my knife again to get all of these lovely little pieces off and into the pan. All right, I'm gonna go and wash my hands because, again, those things that come from the allium, A-L-L-I-U-M, I believe, family, like onions and garlic and shallots and green onions and chives, they all have naturally occurring sugar, which means that once I'm done cutting them, if I leave the juice, my fingers are gonna get sticky. I'm not a fan of sticky fingers. Okay. Man, that nutty smell is so delicious. Oh, all the different kind of nut meat, as in walnuts and almonds and pecans. Those are just, I love them. I love them. Now, peanuts aren't a nut. Peanuts are a legume, okay? So because it comes in that little seed pod, like peas do, it is a legume. It's not a nut because it doesn't grow on a tree. Nuts grow on trees. Don't go all sideways on me here, guys. So nuts grow on trees and legumes grow in seed pods, either in the ground like peanuts do, or on a vine like peas do. So garbanzo beans, those come in a pod. Let's see, lima beans, edamame, which soybeans, fava beans. Oh, never had a fava bean. Now, fava beans are tough. Not as in texturally tough, but they definitely take some work. They're delicious. They are worth it, in my opinion. But it definitely takes a little bit of, it's a number of steps. First, you got to peel them open. Then you have to blanch them, which is you boil them for a little bit and then you put them into an ice bath. And then you peel them again and then you eat them. Then you can cook the inside and eat them. But it definitely takes a bit. All right. I'm not ready yet. I still want it more brown, but I'm going to show you that we're starting to get more and more brown pieces. Okay. Now, the nice thing about this is when you're doing this kind of frying the rice and getting it nice and brown or toasted up, is that the rice gets really hot and so does the pan. So when you actually add your water, it almost immediately comes to a boil. You don't have to wait for it to come to a boil. And it's making it kind of funny noise. It's kind of a whistling. Didn't used to do that. I got a call in to get my oven fixed. So when we were making the ziti the other day, guess what I found out? So I would open up the oven and look in it, and then I'd close it, and the broiler would turn on. Wait, what? That's not supposed to happen? No, it's not. So I think that there's something going on with the computer and it's not giving the right information, which is a large bummer, but it's happening. Okay. Go, guys, go. I love that stuff turns dark purple. All right, we are almost there. I am just about ready to add in and so what I'm going to do is do a couple of sprinkles of salt. Hi, what's up?
You shouldn't say no. I'll hold off.
Yeah, you can, no.
It's about mass murder across the world due to natural causes.
How about let's know?
I'll tell you
It's a
afterwards.
good plan. Love you. Talk to you later. No. Don't encourage him, please. They're not. Don't even. Yes, just as a precursor, you know, like preemptive. Don't do it. All right. So taking a look at the brown rice and how it's doing. Okay, so all right, so I want you guys to see. So some of them are starting to kind of bend and open, but others still look very straight. So they're not ready yet, but they're starting. All right, so I'm liking the smell of the basmati at this point. So I'm going to add my garlic. Don't want to lose any of that garlic because garlic is heck of yum, right? Right. And all right, so now I'm going to give it a stir. I don't know if you guys can hear. Man, that sizzle, and I can immediately smell that garlic. So this is what it's looking like. Okay, now keep your eyes on it because I'm going to add my water. Okay, I'm going to crank up the heat. I'm going to add my water. Whoosh. Okay, I'm going to make sure all of those little rice grains are down in there. And I'm going to put the lid on it. So it's not 100% boiling yet, but it's already starting to do a little bit of bubble. If you're doing a single batch, like a cup of rice, your water will boil like that. And this will not take much. Oh, that garlic smells so good, you guys. Okay, about 12 more minutes on the forbidden rice. Now, here's something else to know about rice, which is a lot of people are like, okay, it's cooked. Away we go. The alarm went off or timer, whatever. And I get that. However, if you really want your rice to be really good, once the timer goes off, then you want to let it, take it off the heat, give it a quick fluff, put the lid back on, and then let it hang out for a good 10 minutes. That will help for any of the moisture to help equalize throughout all the rice. So one grain will taste the same as the next grain versus one being a little bit more soggy, a little bit too hard. So you want to give it that chance to equalize. I see bubbles. I see bubbles. Is that kind of like I see dead people? You guys might not know that reference. Anybody else know that reference? All right, so I'm also going to rotate this because the side that has been closer to the other one that's already getting heat has got a bigger bubble than the one side. So, and I want that to be even. Okay, so nice looking bubble. So I'm going to then put that on simmer. And that will go for 16 to 18-ish minutes. I'm going to get out a fork Remember I said you want to toss your stuff, but I'm also going to get out my this guy. So this is not a colander. A colander is going to have bigger holes, but because we're doing rice, I don't want to drain my rice with something that's going to let all the pieces go out or let any of the pieces go out. I'm going to do it with small holes. It's still going to let the water all out, but won't let anything else out. Can I put this into a colander to hold it? Absolutely I can, and I'm going to do just that. Oh, am I being interesting? Hi, Cat. So if I didn't have somebody else at home, then I can put my colander, but again, these have holes too big for rice. And I put this on top, and then I won't lose any of my rice, but I don't have to wait for somebody else's hands. Loading. Okay. All right, so while we're waiting for that, I'm going to see how our brown rice is doing. Oh, it's starting to look pretty good. Getting there. Right. Okay. So, like I was saying, so some of them are still straight, right? Straight and tall. They haven't really opened themselves up. Still a little bit tough. This one has started to open up, a little softer. And yet there's more of a texture to it than with basic white rice. Okay. That's doing good. That's doing good. That one has some time to go. Okay. Questions, concerns, ideas, thoughts, commentary on this or anything else? Or we just need Blake. What is it? Hangman? No, Blind Man's Bluff, whatever it is. Is there a rice that you guys have ever had, not made necessarily? If you've made it, then great, hey, swell. But that somebody else has fed you that you were like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Like, let's see. There was a biryani rice that I had, and I've had it in a number of places. This one place I had it, it had slivers of almond that were still crunchy. Had, I think they must have done it with currants, because it wasn't like big raisins, and wow, best biryani rice I'd ever had. It was just amazing. So have you guys ever had anything like that? Something you went, oh my goodness, that was incredible. And do you remember where you had it? I will type that into the chat. Right. So yeah, never had a really amazing rice dish. that was just absolutely delicious. And can you describe it? Okay, I'm going to check on this one. This is starting to get pretty toasty, so I'm going to grab a hot mitt. All right, so Vidal, my cousin's husband made Afghan rice with almonds and raisins. Ooh. So was there anything else in there besides almonds and raisins? I mean, some bells, I mean, that sounds awesome. Do you know what other like seasonings and stuff were in there? I'm now very curious. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, this is not all the way cooked yet. It's probably easier to see on something white versus something brown, but so can you guys see that that is purple? It's a really deep, dark purple. And this is that forbidden rice. It's a very short grain rice. So that's okay. I'm not upset. You can't remember. That's it. I'm upset. Yeah, there's something about almonds and raisins or that dried fruit that just really shifts how rice tastes. It gives it such a depth. I mean, garlic's great, and obviously big fan of the garlic, but there is absolutely something about adding those kinds of different things, just take rice a whole different level. I think I may have told you guys a story, I'm not sure, of a rice that I made when I was in culinary school. And that it was the first thing that was destroyed off the line. It was the very first thing gone. And it was a coconut curry pineapple rice. It also had like some veggies and garlic and onions and stuff like that in it, but yeah, it was yummy, yummy, yummy. And people dug it. I was very pleased. Okay. So I'm not convinced that these guys are done yet. What's I getting there? Ugh. Thank you. And then okay, so these rice grains have a really nice, almost a pop. It's almost like you bite them and they have like a crunch. So I'm gonna let them go for another few minutes. It's at a half an hour. Here's the other thing. Everybody's everybody's stove is different. The temperature it cooks, it's different. So what they're calling for might be a little different. So it's just something to be aware of. But see, I think that's just gorgeous. Isn't that so pretty?
Yeah, but the small terms are just the look.
I hear you. So this kind of color with little bits of like fresh parsley in it. So those pops of green in the middle of this deep, dark purple is so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna crank that for a second. And okay, so this looks very, very different. Okay, so as you can see, they've like burst open a little bit. They almost look like I have a split. There's a little line, but they've opened up. And this means that they're soft, but they're not mushy. They still have a little bit of texture to them. So, hey, darling son. Right, I'm going to grab another hot mitt. And I'm gonna pour off this. Yeah, see, something's, that back one's whistling. I think we need to, okay, hot pan. Can you help me, please, Ben? With holding that so it doesn't spill. Just move that way. Yep.
Are you throwing off fucking water?
Because it's how you cook brown rice. You cook it like pasta. Because that's the way that it cooks and it doesn't end up sticking and it cooks properly. It's not what the, it's,
If it wasn't brown rice, I could just hear Uncle Roger going,
oh, yeah. You guys all know who Uncle Roger is?
That didn't happen.
Oh, there's asking, what are you eating in the background? Oh, a milkshake.
Yeah, her milkshake got like super frozen, so I'm in the freezer, so now I'm blending it up a little bit.
It's a mocha malt milkshake.
Why is it so pissy? It's like they're not lining up.
I don't know.
Whatever.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So turn off that guy. Putting the lid on that. Okay. The nice thing about brown rice is I don't have to let it sit to balance out the grains, right? The grain moisture. The brown rice is cooked just like pasta. Once it's cooked, it's cooked. It's cooked. It's nice and fluffy, right? So it's got a nice fluff. It's not mushy together. So there's nice, there's a nice depth of earthy kind of flavor to it. Oh, habit. Last night I was just feeling really wiped out for some reason. So we got Habit delivered. We don't tend to do it very often, but, and they did okay. It's the very first time I was very disappointed with the green beans though. I'd asked for extra crispy and the green beans came doughy. No. Tempura green beans should never be doughy. What the hell is that? Yeah, I was not pleased. Mhm. All right, so I'm gonna let those sit. And it's really easy to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna lift the lid and all that kind of stuff. But you know, give it the time it's supposed to have. It's an important piece to actually give it the time it's supposed to have to cook. So I'm waiting. And the thing is, when I'm looking at the rice right now, I can see some of the pieces that are not completely translucent, see-through. They still have little bits of white, which, okay, there's my timer. So whew, that is some toasty stuff. All right, so I'm gonna take it off the heat. Remember, I'm careful about my lid. Whew. I'm going to fluff it. Yay, fluffy rice. Lid back on. And then timer, 10 minutes. This will allow the rice to fully get balanced, homogeneous kind of a mixture. So then the water gets fully balanced everywhere. So let's take a look at our forbidden rice. Woohoo! There's no dumb questions. No dumb question is the one that you don't ask.
This also might be a question that might get you in trouble.
Well, then don't ask it. So you can see it almost looks burgundy, right? It's this deep, dark burgundy purple color. And like I said, the little pieces, when you bite into them, they almost have a pop, which is lovely. Okay, look at that. Not too crazy. So now I have 3 different kinds of rice, all cooked in different ways. So one was fried up pretty brown before I added the water. One was just water and the rice, but it had to cook for 30 minutes. One was cooked like pasta. So there's, I dig forbidden rice. It's chewy, it's earthy, it's
Lame.
gee, love you.
Oh, you're talking about that. I thought you were talking about brown rice. I think brown rice is freaking gross.
Well, yeah, but you haven't had it the way that I've made it, so there. Anyways, yeah, so the way, as weird as it sounds, and I'm trying not to think about the color, but when I think about the flavor, there's almost like a wininess to it. And I know it's certainly, it's not a grape thing, but there's something about forbidden rice that I really, really enjoy because of that chewiness. And I actually like it better than plain brown rice. I like brown rice. It's fluffier, you know, than forbidden rice. But the other cool thing about forbidden rice and about any of those really dark colored rices and dark colored vegetables and fruits is that they have more antioxidants. So blueberries, dark kind of colors, dark leafy greens, they've got more antioxidants. So, I don't know, guys. Should I jump the gun here? I think I'm gonna jump the gun a little bit. Okay. Oh, I can smell that toastiness, the garlicky smell. Hmm. It's light. It's still got enough bite to it. It's not like I'm chewing on fluff. It's fluffy, but it's not like it doesn't exist. Because I've certainly had rice that was cooked way overcooked and way too much water, and it was like chewing on mush. Gross. This, on the other hand, it's got a lightness, but there's still some chew to it. It's not like it disappears. And that garlic and that toastiness really amplifies the basmati's toasty characteristic that's already there. So those are some awesome ways that you guys can do rice. So I'm going to encourage you to take the jasmine rice or the basmati rice and toast them up like this, add a little bit of garlic and some water, doing the proper proportions, and see how it comes out. So, who's got questions? All right, so I'm going to this. Please make basmati or jasmine rice to your third flavor. So, what does that mean? Can you do it with chicken broth or vegetable broth? Yes. Can you do it with herbs? Yes. If you're doing fresh herbs, don't stir them in until the very end. If you're doing it with dry herbs, I've got some Mexican oregano here. I would do that in the beginning, like as you're adding the water in, so it has enough time to absorb. You can do it with, curry or cumin or garam masala. Let's see, I got tandoori. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can do rice. So I'm going to, and if you want to cut up some onion and saute that before you cook your rice, great, do that. So make basmati or jasmine or both, whatever, in a particular way. I'm okay with whatever way you guys want to make it. I just want you guys to show me that you've made it. I will create it as an actual assignment on Canvas so that you can upload your pictures or your videos. And with it being a little bit after 3 o'clock, I will give you the time to go and do that. You do not have to check back in, but go make some rice. Questions, concerns, thoughts, anything? All right. Go have it. Remember to say goodbye in the chat and go have a good time making rice. Go have a safe weekend, you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Happy rice making. Karina and Assad, you guys okay?
My bad, I was in the bathroom.
All good, as long as you're okay. So you're gonna go, I'll end up posting it, but on Canvas, but go make some rice. Either with the basmati or the jasmine or one of the other rices that I've given you guys, not the arborio, the other 3.
Okay.
Or different rice that you've got on hand, and have some fun with it. Show me pictures. Tell me what you do. Get creative with it. No just plain white rice. Have fun with it.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Bye.
Take good care of yourself.
You
Bye.
too.
Thank you. All right, Assad, how about you? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Did you have any last questions? Are you okay to go?
I'm fine.
Fabulous. Any
Yeah.
ideas of what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
Excellent. I will look forward to seeing it.
Yep.
All right. Have a good time. I'll talk to
You
you later.
too.
Thank you. The timer.